Welcome back, everyone, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the new Borderlands movie because there's finally some updated news about this. And I know a lot of people are hesitant about the movie or worried, but I'm really excited. Yes, video game movies have a bad history, but they are getting a lot better, and there's a lot of attention on them lately. And as Briscoe County Jr. once said, a lot of people are looking for the coming thing. And that should be video game movies. Because right now in Hollywood, if you're going to compete for the big bucks, which is summer blockbuster, it's getting really hard. You know, Disney tied up Marvel, and they're killing it with Marvel. But now they have Star Wars, and they're expanding Star Wars. And soon coming up, they have Avatar, and they just bought Fox. So they've got like a monopoly on the summer blockbuster. But then you go and, you know, Warner Brothers, all of those strugglings, got all of DC locked up. Universal's got all like the giant monsters locked up. It's harder and harder to like get in there. And Lionsgate, a fairly, you know, big studio who had this Hunger Games and Twilight before as their big kind of tentpole franchises, those are gone and finished, and they need to compete. So they bought the rights for Borderlands, and they said when they bought it they want to make that their tentpole or a tentpole franchise, which means it's going to be big budget, big deal, and everything. But that also means for all those people that I keep hearing, oh, I'd rather just have them do it animated. It's not going to be animated because adult-themed animated movies are not flagship movie franchises, which they are planning it to be. So this is really cool and exciting. I'm pumped. So back to the video games thing. Video game movies, yes, for a long time were super shitty and terrible. But comic book movies used to kind of be like that too. And then they kept getting better, and they learned all these lessons through the last like 10, 15 years of making comic book movies. And they've been getting pretty damn good. And Borderlands or Lionsgate combined with Gearbox are going after people that seem like the right people, at least. So right now we have a producer, writer, and a director they're going after, and it seems like they're going in the right direction. So let's start talking about them. So Avi Arad was announced very early as the producer of this. And I was pretty pumped right away to hear his name come out, because Avi Arad comes from like the toy business and the comic book business, and he's now had a long career of producing mainly comic book stuff. And although it's hit and miss, like this is one of the guys that really helped bring comic books into the forefront of Hollywood. So I'm pumped. So let's go through some of his IMDb history. You know, he's been producing movies or TV shows since 1991, so he's no rookie. But to go through some of the relevant stuff, he did the Spider-Man cartoon from 94 to 95. That was a pretty good one. I mean, I grew up with that. The X-Men series, which was amazing, 93 to 96. In there was like the Incredible Hulk, Silver Surfer. Here's a big one, Blade in 1998. Like, Blade, people forget, like, before X-Men and Spider-Man launched to really, like, bring these comic book movies out there, Blade was the one, and Avi Arad did that. After that, he did some more animated stuff, and then he was the executive producer of X-Men in 2000, which, again, a big turning point for comic book movies. He also did Blade 2, and then in 2002, he did the first Spider-Man movie, which was fucking fantastic. That's a big deal. Again, that was a big turning point. Yes, he did Daredevil. Then he did X-Men 2. He did the first Hulk. I liked it. Did another Spider-Man TV series, X-Men Evolution, which was a pretty good X-Men animated show. He did the Tom Jane Punisher. He did Spider-Man 2, which was that's still to this day a lot of people's favorite comic book movie of all time. The one with Dr. Octopus, that one was fucking good. Blade Trinity, which wasn't my favorite of the Blades. Yes, he did Elektra. Yes, he did Fantastic Four. And yes, he did X-Men Last Stand. So there's misses. And he did the Ghost Rider. He did the Blade TV series. I didn't watch that. I don't know how that turned out. So then he kept doing. He did Spider-Man 3. But here's a big one: 2008, Iron Man. Yeah. So like now, like Blade, X-Men, Spider-Man, Iron Man, like all of the big movies that like really turned the corner for Marvel movies to make them what they are today. Avi Arad was part of it. So that's a big get for that. Because if he could do what he did with comic book movies into video game movies, you know, there's some potential for some amazing things here. So, you know, yes, he had missteps along the way, but, you know, through mistakes you get better. He's also listed at producing, let's see, coming up, oh, Spider-Man Homecoming. That was pretty baller. But yeah, he's on for like Venom and a bunch of stuff, but also Metal Gear Solid. That's pretty exciting. I want to see that. So yeah, Avi Arad, great guy I think to have on producing it. It doesn't mean it's going to be awesome, but you know, he can turn things around and he can do great things, and you know, he's one piece of the puzzle. So next they announced this Aaron Bird guy who doesn't really have any credits. He put in some spec scripts and people got excited, and I guess he's writing G.I. Joe 3 now. He just made a pass at the Borderlands movie, but then they got rid of him. That's not uncommon for movies to go through multiple writers before they land on theirs, so that's not actually a reason to worry or whatever. I remember Aronofsky took an early pass at Batman before Batman Begins was made, and like the Tumblr came out of his script and stuff. So nothing really to say there, nothing to know about that guy too much. But now this Oren Uziel, I don't know how to pronounce it, Uziel, is reported to be writing it. Not on IMDb yet, but it showed up in these articles off this hashtag, what is it? The hashtag show. So I don't know how credible that is, but if this is the guy that's working on it, a bunch of people are picking this up now. He's only got 7 writing credits to him. His first 2 were Mortal Kombat Rebirth and Legacy. But then he did the screenplay for 22 Jump Street, and I fucking love that movie. That was hilarious. I was laughing my ass off on that. So the guy's definitely got the comedy chops for Borderlands. He wrote the Cloverfield Paradox, which I watched. It was alright. He also did some Freaks of Nature and Shimmer Lake. I have not watched those, but I'm going to check them out now that I know he's writing the Borderlands movie. So this guy's got some potential. And I'm going to jump back to him after I talk about the next part. Now they announced a director that they are going after, or they didn't announce it, it's been leaked, I guess. But they are pursuing Chris McKay, who recently did the Lego Batman movie, and that's, holy shit, that was good. I've watched it a few times now. I think it's been playing on HBO or something lately. I'll sit down and it's on, and you know, I just can't get up because I just keep laughing. But this guy's got a short directing career so far, 9 credits to his name. Actually, I think 8. One's just announced. But going way back, well, not way back, but he did the Moral Oral TV series. I never watched it, but pretty well rated. And then there's this Titan Maximum, which I never read, so I clicked on it, and it's the description is 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb, so that's not bad. But sci-fi stop-motion parody centering on a group of teen heroes that pilot a giant robot in order to protect the galaxy from evil. It sounds hilarious and perfect. Oh, it's a Seth Green thing, so yeah, that makes sense, because he did a bunch of Robot Chicken stuff. So, yeah, kind of seems like someone that enjoys the nerdy stuff, and you want someone that's going to actually like the stuff that they're making, generally artists that have like a vision and are excited about a project do better with it. And that was the problem with video game movies and comic book movies for so long. They weren't respected mediums, and they didn't have people that respected them doing them. This guy seems like someone who's going to respect the medium of what he's doing based on his short history. But also he's done some awesome things. He did Robot Chicken Star Wars Episode 3. That was hilarious. Bunch of robot TV series stuff. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about this guy as a director if they land him. It hasn't been reported that they actually landed him yet. It was just reported that they are pursuing him. So, with Chris McKay, who's somewhat new to the game, not a lot of credits to his name, and the Orion Uziel, what's kind of cool about that is some of Marvel's big successes so far has been going after kind of younger, hungry people that have something interesting to do, and that's what we saw with Guardians of the Galaxy with James Gunn and Thor Ragnarok with Taika Waititi. Is that how you say his name? Sorry. But if I got that wrong, sorry. If I nailed it, then screw you. But they've had a lot of successes going after stuff like that. And that kind of looks like what they're doing here. They're not going after these older, well-established guys that probably don't want to do this. They're going after some guys that might be interested in it. And these guys have done totally, between like Cloverfield Paradox and 22 Jump Street, like tone-wise, I can see the writer hitting it, and the director, yeah, he can definitely nail it. So I'm really pumped about the people attached to this so far. I think it's really exciting to see kind of names that seem to fit. But also in this hashtag show, they went after some casting notes of different people. Now there's 2 unknown people on here. There's a Clay Stantanovsky and Eva. And Eva sounds like possibly a new siren, unless it's a code name for another siren, but it doesn't sound like that. So it sounds like they're going to bring some new characters in the mix, but on the casting notes or, summaries that get people acted, there's a Claptrap for a voiceover, Krieg, Jack, which they call Jack Doll, which is interesting, but Hammerlock, Moxie, and Tanis. Now, I think it was Randy Pitchford. I'm trying to think where I heard this, but they're talking about when they're doing the movie, they aren't going to rehash what we've already seen. So this isn't going to be just the retelling of Borderlands 1 or Borderlands 2. It's going to take place somewhere in between stuff. So I don't know if this is going to kind of come in between Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3, or, where this is landing. But, it's going to be kind of a offshoot, hopefully expanding on the universe a little bit. Because Jack's in it, I don't know if it's maybe in between 1 and 2. I could see that. But it's going to be expanding the universe because of, well, hopefully with the Clay and Eva characters. And that's cool because Tales did that. Brought in new characters, brought in old characters, and nailed it. Now, to the title of this video, sorry for bearing the lead. When they're describing this movie, so the game follows a collection of misfits who scavenge an alien mining colony that's full of futuristic weapons and truly bizarre characters. The movie adaptation is being developed as an R-rated science fiction comedy, important part there, with the producers shooting for a tone that crosses Mad Max Fury Road with Guardians of the Galaxy, which seems like a perfect approach for the source material. However, with a project this ambitious, it will need a director who has the vision to match the ambition, which I think they did. But to back up on that, alright, so we got Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a collection of like a ragtag group of misfits out in space adventures. Then you have Mad Max Fury Road, which is like Western post-apocalyptic. What does that remind you of if you combine those two? What comes to my mind is Firefly. Yeah. And that makes sense. Like, Borderlands and Firefly aren't actually too far off. It's a group of mercenaries going on adventures out on these like desolate outer rim planets, and Pandora's a total outer rim planet. psychos actually aren't that far off from Reavers. So for all you Firefly fans, like, not saying that this is gonna be Firefly because that's sacred ground, but this could be like that. And if this really goes off well, I am so excited because to me, like, the Borderlands universe could, not as big, but like, it could be like a Star Wars universe. You know, never to that scale, ever to that scale, but there's so many amazing characters, and just like Pandora itself is so interesting and cool and intriguing, and we all just love it. And you could just spawn off and do all these different things. You know, it doesn't have to be this linear story. There could be so many offshoot stories, kind of like the Marvel universe, as well, where it's, you know, they've got their overarching story they're going towards, but there's all this side stuff that doesn't really tie in too much, but just a little bit. And you could always just keep bringing new characters into this world and expand on it, and I want an expanded Borderlands universe. And this is a great way to get there. Because if this movie takes off, they've already done some Borderlands comics, so those are alright, but I can see those taking off bigger, and seeing more characters and seeing more Telltale games, and yeah, there's so much they could do with this. So I'm super, super excited. I can't wait to see what comes of this. I'm being incredibly optimistic, and I hope you guys are too, because this could be so fucking epic. I'm, yeah, very, very happy, very excited. Let me know what you guys think about the movie news, about the casting. And, yeah, I will talk to you all later. Bye.